the cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Yeah.
I want you to close your eyes for a second and just go back to 2009.
Oh, man. 2009.
You're standing on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. The air is it's thick with the smell of ocean salt and hairspray.
And deep-fried Oreos.
Exactly. Deep-fried Oreos. You can hear the thumping bass of house music literally rattling your chest. You see the fist pumping, the spray tans.
It's that absolute chaotic energy.
Right. It was the energy of people who genuinely believe the party is never going to end. It was the era of invincibility.
It was a cultural timestamp. I mean, it represented pure, unadulterated excess. We watched them specifically because they seemed to have zero consequences.
Zero.
It was escapism in its rawest form for you sitting at home.
But now I want you to cut the scene. Hard cut. It's February 2026. The music is off.
It's dead quiet.
You're sitting alone in a car. You're still wearing the leopard print, like that old armor is still there,
Yeah.
but you are terrified. You're holding up a phone to record a TikTok, and you have to say the words that shatter that illusion of invincibility once and for all.
And that is the jarring transition we are analyzing today, from the boardwalk to the biopsy.
Welcome to StarScope Report. I'm Jordan, and I am here to guide you through the headlines.
And I'm Jamie, here to connect the dots on why this actually matters.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we are doing a deep dive into a story that is shaking the foundations of reality TV history.
Snooki just confirmed our worst fear.
Yeah.
On Friday, February 20th, Nicole Snooki Polizzi, the woman who really defined a generation, dropped a video that stopped everyone's scroll. She confirmed she has cervical cancer.
This is a heavy one. But our mission for this deep dive isn't just to report the celebrity news. We're going to unpack the specific medical reality of her diagnosis, because there's a lot of nuance here that the headlines are missing regarding adenocarcinoma. We're going to look at the psychology of the Jersey Shore ecosystem and how it's morphed into this literal survival support group.
And finally, we have to look at the broader data, because this week specifically has brought a dark cloud over 2000s Hollywood that tells a much bigger story about mortality.
It really has.
So if you're loving these deep dives into the twists behind the fame, make sure you're subscribed right now. We've got some intense analysis ahead.
Let's get into it.
So let's start with the video itself, because usually when a celebrity announces an illness, it's a highly polished PR statement.
Oh, yeah. The Notes app screenshot.
Exactly. It's a black and white photo on Instagram. It's managed by a whole crisis team. But this was not that.
No, this was distinctively raw. Nicole is 38 years old now. She's a mother of 3, and she went directly to TikTok.
Unfiltered.
Completely. She's wearing the oversized sunglasses and the leopard print coat, but the affect is completely different. She revealed she has been diagnosed with stage 1 cervical cancer, but the specific detail she gave is crucial here. It's adenocarcinoma.
I want to pause on that term for a second, adenocarcinoma, because I think most people hear cervical cancer and assume it's all just the exact same thing.
Right.
But digging into the medical literature for this deep dive, this is a distinct and trickier beast than what most people are routinely screened for, isn't it?
It is, and this is where the public health education piece of her video is vital. About 70 to 90% of cervical cancers are what we call squamous cell carcinomas.
Oh, okay.
Those start in the flat cells lining the outer part of the cervix. Those are the ones Pap smears are historically really good at catching early, because the cells are right there on the surface.
So that's the standard type, if there is such a thing.
Right. But Snooki has adenocarcinoma.
Right.
This starts in the glandular cells that produce mucus. These cells are further up in the endocervix. It's like the tunnel leading to the uterus.
So it's hidden.
Exactly. Because of where it grows, it can be much harder to detect with standard screening until it's more advanced. It literally hides on the inside.
Wow. And that context makes what she said next even more chilling. She admitted she had been dealing with abnormal pap smears for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years. That is a massive window of time to leave something unresolved.
It is. But, she was incredibly honest about the why. She didn't blame the doctors or the healthcare system. She said, quote, "I was scared."
Yeah.
She pushed it off because she didn't want to deal with the pain or the stress of the follow-ups.
That's the part that really hit me. It's that very human reaction of, if I don't acknowledge it, maybe it's not real.
It's a textbook behavioral response.
Hmm.
We call it avoidance coping. We see this constantly in medical sociology, especially with procedures that are invasive or uncomfortable.
Which a biopsy definitely is.
Absolutely. The anxiety of the potential diagnosis outweighs the logic of prevention. It's essentially the Schrodinger's cat of health. If I don't get the test, the cancer doesn't exist.
Until, of course, it does exist. She mentioned her doctor finally performed a cone biopsy. For the listener who hasn't been through this, what are we actually talking about here? Is this just a quick sample, like a needle biopsy, or is it actual surgery?
It's significant. A cone biopsy or conization is a surgical procedure where they remove a cone-shaped wedge of tissue from the cervix.
Okay.
It serves two purposes. It's diagnostic because it allows the pathologist to see the depth of the invasion, but it's also often therapeutic, meaning if the cancer is small enough and fully contained in that wedge, the biopsy itself can cure you by removing all of it.
But in Snooki's case, the cone wasn't enough.
No. She shared that the doctor drew her a diagram showing cancerous cells at the top of the cervix near the opening. Because she delayed and because of the creeping nature of adenocarcinoma, the margins weren't clear.
So they didn't get it all.
Exactly. She's now looking at a much more aggressive path. She's scheduled for a PT scan immediately.
And that's to check for metastasis, right? To see if it has spread to the lymph nodes or elsewhere in her body.
Correct. And then comes the treatment plan she outlined, which is a hysterectomy. This is where the story pivots from purely medical to deeply emotional.
Yeah, because she has her 3 kids, Lorenzo, Giovanna, and Angelo.
Right. And she's been vocal that she's done having children. Logic would say, okay, take the uterus problem solved. But human emotion doesn't work that way.
She was really vulnerable there. She said the idea of losing the choice is, quote, killing her. It's not about actually wanting more kids. It's about the finality of it.
It's a well-documented concept called reproductive grief.
Yeah.
And it affects women even when their families are totally complete. It's a sudden loss of agency. It's a biological door slamming shut before you were ready to close it yourself.
But there is a silver lining in her report regarding the surgery details. She mentioned she really hopes to keep her ovaries.
Yes.
Why is that the major distinction? If you're taking the uterus, why fight so hard to keep the ovaries?
Hormones. The ovaries are the engine room for estrogen and progesterone. If you remove them, which is called an oophorectomy, you send the patient into immediate surgical menopause.
Which is brutal.
It is a violent shock to the system. You're talking severe hot flashes, mood swings, rapid bone density loss, and increased cardiovascular risk essentially overnight. By keeping the ovaries, she maintains her hormonal balance and protects her long-term health, specifically her heart and her bones.
So she's facing a major surgery, but she's hoping to avoid that immediate hormonal crash. Now, Snooki, being Snooki, she didn't end the video on a pity note.
Not at all.
She turned right to the camera and said, quote, "So get your appointments done, B-word."
It's incredibly effective health communication. We call this a parasocial intervention.
Parasocial intervention, I like that.
Because we feel like we know Snooki. We watched her get arrested on the beach. We watched her fall in love. When she speaks, it cuts through the noise so much better than a CDC pamphlet ever could.
She's using her own delay as a cautionary tale. She's looking at you and saying, I messed up, I waited, don't be me.
It's leveraging her massive influence for survival. And frankly, it's working. The comment section on that TikTok was flooded with women saying they just booked their overdue appointments.
Which is incredible, but wait until you hear how the rest of the cast is handling this because it reveals something absolutely fascinating about their dynamic. That's coming up in a moment.
It's a huge shift from partying to protection.
Exactly. But before we get there, let's talk about the ecosystem around her. When one member of a tribe is threatened, the tribe closes ranks. Immediately you had Sammy Sweetheart calling her the strongest woman.
Yeah.
You had JWoww, her historical ride or die posting, I love you so much.
Yeah.
But if you zoom out and look at the spin-off Jersey Shore Family Vacation, the show itself has become a real-time documentation of aging, hasn't it?
It's essentially the Boyhood of reality TV. We've watched these exact same people for over 15 years. The narrative has completely shifted from who is hooking up in the smush room to how do we handle divorce, addiction, prison, and now cancer.
The audience has literally aged with them. We aren't watching for the train wreck anymore. We're watching for the resilience.
And that resilience is being tested on multiple fronts right now. Because it's not just Snooki. Dina Cortese, the other meatball, dropped some very heavy revocations on her podcast, The Meatball Pod, recently.
This connects directly to that theme of what lies beneath the party. Dina opened up about her mental health during the original series. Fans remember her as being totally out of control in the later seasons, always dancing, always falling over.
Right.
But she revealed that wasn't just carefree partying. She was self-medicating severe intrusive thoughts and the onset of OCD.
That completely recontextualizes the entertainment, doesn't
Yeah.
it? We were all laughing at what was essentially a severe mental health crisis playing out on national television.
We were. And Dina is fully aware of that public perception. She admitted she actually lurks on the Jersey Shore Reddit page.
Which is basically digital self-harm for any celebrity. Never read the comments, Tina.
Never read the comments, usually yes.
Yeah.
But she actually engaged. She called out a specific Redditor who said she complains too much. She explained that traveling with OCD and leaving her children is a massive trigger for her.
It shows a level of boundary setting and self-awareness that simply didn't exist in 2009.
Definitely. So you have Snooki facing cancer, Dina managing OCD, and then Dina dropped a piece of information that is lighter but weirdly profound regarding the group dynamics. She talked about Pauly D and Vinny.
Ah, yes. The ultimate bromance.
She said back in the day they were, quote, like dating. She described Pauly refusing to go camping unless Vinny came along. She painted a picture of total codependency.
It's interesting because the show always framed this as a joke. Remember they even had a bromitment ceremony?
Yes, the bromitment ceremony.
But if you look at it through the lens of this high-stress, insulated environment they lived in, it makes complete psychological sense. They became each other's emotional regulators.
Explain that a bit more for the listeners. What do you mean emotional regulators?
Think about it. They were trapped in a house, surrounded by cameras 24/7, often vilified by the local residents, and dealing with incredibly volatile romantic relationships.
Constant stress.
Constant. They couldn't rely on the producers. They couldn't rely on outsiders. They only had each other. So whether it's Pauly needing Vinny to feel safe on a camping trip or the girls rallying around Snooki's cancer diagnosis today, it's the exact same mechanism. It's trauma bonding. They formed an insulated tribe to survive.
Safety net. And right now, that insulation is more necessary than ever. Because if we widen the lens beyond just the Jersey Shore, the news coming out of Hollywood this week suggests a much broader, much darker trend.
It really does. Snooki isn't the only icon facing a major crisis right now.
No, she's not. And that's not even the wildest part. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist regarding a Disney Channel star and a Grey's Anatomy legend that nobody saw coming. Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next.
It's like a domino effect of bad news.
Let's get into segment 3, the dark cloud over Hollywood. This is the part that feels incredibly heavy. It feels like the bill is suddenly coming due for the early 2000s generation. We aren't just talking about Snooki here.
No. Let's look at Christy Carlson Romano. If you grew up with Disney Channel watching even Stevens or Kim Possible, she was an absolute staple of your childhood.
Absolutely.
She posted a tearful video this exact same week revealing she had a positive screening and might have stageable cancer.
And the catalyst for her actually getting checked is heartbreaking.
It was James Van Der Beek, the Dawson's Creek star.
Who we tragically lost recently to colorectal cancer.
Right. Christy said explicitly that seeing James's struggle and listening to his advocacy before he died is what urged her to get screened.
Wow.
It's a ripple effect. One tragedy triggers a potential save for someone else. But it also reinforces this collective feeling that the invincible icons of our youth are suddenly very fragile.
It's like the universe is shouting at us to wake up. But then we also have the news about Eric Dane, Dr. Mark Sloan, McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
The man was the absolute definition of virility and health on screen.
And he passed away recently from complications of ALS. That story shook people, not just because of the devastating loss of talent, but because of the harsh financial realities surrounding it.
This is what really shocked me when we were researching this deep dive. Friends and directors had to launch a GoFundMe to support his 2 daughters.
I saw that.
They raised over $130,000, which is great. But the fact that McSteamy, a massive primetime network television star, needed a GoFundMe, that shattered a lot of illusions for fans.
It severely peels back the curtain on the economics of fame. We always assume these actors are just set for life. They have mansions and endless bank accounts.
Right.
But chronic illness like ALS drains resources at an unimaginable rate. The specialized care is astronomical. It proves that fame simply does not equal security. You had tributes pouring in from Alyssa Milano, Selma Blair, Ashton Kutcher, all his peers. And you could feel the collective anxiety in their posts.
It's a generational mortality check. We spent the entire 2000s watching these people live as if they were immortal. Snooki falling on the beach and bouncing right back up, James Vanderbeek climbing through a window on the creek, Eric Dane saving lives in a fake hospital. They were the young and invincible crowd.
And now the narrative has permanently shifted to survival. The audience is realizing that if Snooki can get cancer, if McSteamy can face ALS, then time is coming for all of us.
It's very sobering. But I want to circle back to where we started this whole conversation, that powerful image of Snooki sitting in her car.
The leopard print coat.
Exactly. It used to be a fun costume for a party. Now it looks like battle armor. She's scared. She's facing a hysterectomy. She's facing the big C word. But she still turned the camera on.
She didn't hide. In a world full of highly curated Instagram feeds and perfect beauty filters, she showed us the raw fear. And by telling her millions of followers, who are mostly women her own age, to go get checked, she's arguably doing more tangible good in one single TikTok video than she did in 6 seasons of Jersey Shore.
It's the ultimate evolution of a reality star. From entertaining us with her mess to quite literally saving us with her message.
It's a powerful second act. And it reminds us that while the reality part of reality TV used to feel fake, it just got very, very real.
So here is the provocative thought I want to leave you with today as we wrap up this deep dive.
Yep.
We often dismiss early reality TV as trash. We say it's brain rot. But we have watched these specific people for over 15 years now. We essentially have a 15-year longitudinal study on human connection, on trauma, and on aging.
That's a great way to put it.
Think about it. Does witnessing their vulnerability, now seeing Snooki terrified in that car fighting for her life, change how you view those early chaotic years? Were we watching a silly comedy back then, or were we just blindly watching the prologue to a very intense human drama about survival?
It definitely changes the rewatch value for me. It adds a thick layer of empathy that just wasn't there before.
It certainly does. It reframes the whole genre. Keep your eyes on the stars, but seriously, take Snooki's advice. Make the appointment. Look after yourself down here on Earth.
And don't forget to check in on your friends.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.